Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Mysteries from Beyond the Other Dominion. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl. Now the question of the day. Was there once a female pope? Roll tape! Now, going back in history, we're going to tell you about the female pope. Yes, I said the female pope, the so-called she-pope. But first, the trivia question of the day. Let me extricate it here from its paper prison. The question: how old was the youngest pope in history when he assumed the papacy? And I'll give you a big hint, he was under 60. Now, the prize, the only prize, one pat on the back that you'll have to administer to yourself, if and only if you get the correct answer. And please, please don't call us. We don't have any operators to take your calls, and if we did, we still could not afford prizes. I'll take a sip of water and be back momentarily with that correct answer. And I'm going to make that multiple choice. Was it 14, 16, 18, 20, or 22? Which one was the age of the youngest pope? Again, no prize. I'm calling time. Again, what was the age of the youngest pope in history when he assumed the papacy? Well, amazingly, he was only 18, the teenage pope. And he reigned from 955 to 964 and left office when he was just 27, still a young man. And this pertains to the she-pope because she was also a young woman. Let me show you a rendition of the she-pope. Her name was Pope Joan, otherwise known as John VIII. She was an English woman who was in Germany because her parents were missionaries there. And as a young lady, she wanted a good education. But the only way to get a good education at that time, was in the 800s, was to go to a church school, to enter a seminary. And women were not allowed. So she disguised herself as a man and became not only a priest, but a highly regarded one. Now you might immediately ask how she could fool everyone. Well, first of all, you must remember, back in the 800s, there were no Big Macs around. There weren't burger stands on every corner. Most of the people were starving. They looked emaciated. And the difference between males and females was very slight. You didn't see gals like Marilyn Monroe and Cindy Crawford walking around. Then, as a priest, she'd be wearing her robes and her hood, and she'd pretty well disguise herself. I don't know about her voice, but she must have carried it off. Now, in 855, she was elected pope because of her renown for being a very great scholar. Now you ask, how was she elected? By the people of Rome. It wasn't until the 11th century that the College of Cardinals came into being. The popes were elected by popular vote by the folks in Rome. And they liked Pope Joan, otherwise at that time known as John VIII. Now, what happened? In 857, during a papal procession, she gave birth to a baby right on the street. And as you notice down here, we have Joan here, but down there, baby. Yes, this is the rendition of Pope Joan giving birth in public. And you ask, why would she do this? What type of idiot was she? Well, psychologists say she was probably a classic trickster. It's not just good enough to fool everyone. You want to brag about it. And what better way to tell everyone that you've fooled them than to have a baby in public? Well, she misread the public because she and infant were immediately stoned to death. Yes, stoned to death. And that was the end of Pope Joan's reign. Now, immediately, the church erased all reference to Pope Joan. For example, her reign from 855 to 857 is credited to Benedict III. However, this was known during the Middle Ages. There were plays about Pope Joan. In fact, in 1972, there is a motion picture titled Pope Joan, starring the Norwegian actress Liv Ullmann. And it's also immortalized in tarot cards. Please note this one. This is known as the High Priestess. And we believe that this is actually supposed to be a representation of Pope Joan. You notice that she has the hood, the crown, the robes. She's sitting in a throne, and on her chest, a cross. So most scholars believe this is Pope Joan, the so-called she-pope. In addition, there are a series of 8 motifs at St. Peter's, rendered by Giovanni Germini, a well-known artist, and they depict the stages in the life of Pope Joan, culminating with the birth of the baby in the streets. So the she-pope, I believe, did exist. I'll bet $1 to a dime that this story is true.
Yes, I agree. Now, just for the record, to be stoned to death is to be lapidated. Lapidated. Lapidate. Yes, lapidation is stoning to death. Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes, yes.